In a quaint village nestled between serene mountains, there lived a young man named Yuto. He was ambitious, energetic, and determined to achieve greatness in life. Yet, despite his hard work and relentless efforts, Yuto felt stuck. No matter how much he tried, success seemed elusive, always just out of reach. Frustrated and disheartened, Yuto heard whispers of an old Zen master, known for his wisdom and unconventional teachings, who lived in a secluded temple atop the nearby mountain. Yuto decided to seek out this master, hoping to find answers to his struggles. The journey to the temple was not easy. The path was steep and rugged, filled with obstacles that tested Yuto's resolve. But his determination to find a solution to his problems pushed him forward. After hours of trekking, Yuto finally reached the temple. It was a humble structure, simple yet emanating a sense of profound peace. The scent of incense filled the air, and the sound of rustling leaves created a serene symphony. Yuto was greeted by the sight of an elderly man, the Zen master, sitting quietly in meditation under a large, ancient tree. Yuto hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to approach the master. But before he could say anything, the old man opened his eyes and smiled warmly, as if he had been expecting Yuto. "Welcome, young man," the Zen master said, his voice calm and soothing. "What brings you here?" Yuto, still catching his breath, bowed respectfully. "Master, I have come seeking wisdom. I want to achieve great things in life, but no matter how hard I work, I find myself failing. I've tried everything: planning, discipline, even sacrificing sleep, but success keeps slipping away from me. Please guide me. How can I achieve my goals?" The Zen master nodded, as if understanding Yuto's inner turmoil. "Come, sit with me," he said, gesturing to a spot beside him. "Let me tell you a story." Yuto sat down, eager to absorb the wisdom that the master was about to impart. The story of the bamboo grove. The Zen master began many years ago. There was a village much like yours, surrounded by dense forests and tall mountains. In this village lived a young farmer named Haru. Haru was a hard-working man, dedicated to cultivating his land and providing for his family. But despite his efforts, his crops yielded little, and his land was barren. One day, Haru decided to visit a wise elder who lived in the village to seek advice on how to make his land fruitful. Elder Haru said, "I have done everything in my power to grow my crops, but the land remains barren. What should I do?" The elder, known for his deep understanding of nature, smiled and replied, "Go to the forest and observe the bamboo grove. You will find your answer there." Perplexed but obedient, Haru went to the forest. He found a lush grove of bamboo, tall and strong, swaying gently in the wind. He watched the bamboo for hours, but saw nothing extraordinary. Confused, he returned to the elder and said, "I have observed the bamboo, but I do not understand what it is supposed to teach me." The elder smiled again and said, "The bamboo is patient. It spends years growing its roots deep into the earth before it ever sprouts above the surface. For years, it seems as if nothing is happening. But once its roots are strong and deep, the bamboo grows rapidly, reaching great heights in a short period of time. You see, the bamboo teaches us that true growth happens beneath the surface, where no one can see. It is only when the foundation is strong that success becomes visible." Haru reflected on the elder's words. He realized that he had been focusing on the immediate results of his work, without understanding the importance of building a strong foundation. He returned to his farm with a renewed sense of purpose, focusing not just on the crops above the ground, but on enriching the soil, nurturing the roots, and preparing for long-term growth. The Zen master paused, letting the story sink in. Yuto listened intently, absorbing the lesson hidden in the tale of the bamboo grove. "Yuto," the master said gently, "like the bamboo, you must first build a strong foundation before you can achieve anything great. Success is not just about working hard on the surface, it's about what lies beneath your mindset, your patience, your willingness to grow even when no one can see it. Are you ready to learn how to cultivate that foundation?" Yuto nodded eagerly. Yes, master, I am ready. The Zen master smiled. Very well. The first lesson is about letting go of your attachment to immediate results. Follow me. The lesson of the empty teacup. The Zen master led Yuto into the temple, where they entered a small room filled with the aroma of freshly brewed tea. The master gestured for Yuto to sit down at a low wooden table, where 2 teacups were placed. Before we begin, the master said, "Let's have some tea." Yuto watched as the master poured tea into his own cup, filling it to the brim. Then he began to pour tea into Yuto's cup. But instead of stopping when the cup was full, the master continued to pour, and the tea overflowed, spilling onto the table. Master, Yuto exclaimed, "The cup is already full. It cannot hold any more tea." The Zen master stopped pouring and looked at Yuto with a knowing smile. Exactly. Your mind is like this teacup, Yuto. It is already full of your own ideas, expectations, and assumptions about success. How can you learn anything new if your mind is already full? To achieve anything, you must first empty your mind of what you think you know. Yuto felt a wave of realization wash over him. He had been so focused on his own beliefs about success and how to achieve it that he hadn't been open to new ways of thinking. Master, how do I empty my mind? Yuto asked, eager to learn. By letting go, the master replied. Let go of your attachment to the outcome. Let go of your fears and doubts. When your mind is empty, it is ready to receive wisdom and to learn new ways of achieving your goals. The path of consistent effort. Over the next few days, Yuto stayed at the temple, learning from the Zen master. Every morning they would rise before dawn and practice meditation. At first, Yuto found it difficult to sit still and quiet his mind. His thoughts would race, and he became frustrated with himself. But the master gently guided him, reminding him that meditation was not about forcing the mind to be still, but about observing the thoughts without attachment and letting them pass. Yuto, the master, said one morning as they sat in meditation, the mind is like a wild horse. It will resist being tamed. But with consistent effort and patience, you can learn to ride it. Yuto took the master's words to heart. He continued to practice meditation every day, and gradually he found that his mind became calmer, more focused. He began to notice subtle changes in his perspective. The challenges he faced no longer seemed insurmountable. He started to understand that success was not just about achieving a goal, but about the process of becoming the person who could achieve it. One day, as they walked through the forest surrounding the temple, the master asked Yuto, "What do you see?" Yuto looked around at the towering trees, the vibrant flowers, and the sunlight filtering through the leaves. "I see nature in all its beauty, master." The master nodded. "Bois, indeed. But look closer. Do you see how every tree, every plant, every living thing here grows at its own pace? Some trees are tall and strong, while others are still young and small. Yet each one is perfect in its own way. They do not compete with each other. They do not rush their growth. They simply are, and in time they will reach their full potential." Yuto understood the lesson. "You're saying that I should focus on my own growth, without comparing myself to others or rushing the process." "Exactly," the master replied. "The path to achieving anything is through consistent effort, patience, and self-compassion. Trust that you are growing, even when you cannot see the results immediately. Trust the process." The final challenge. As weeks turned into months, Yuto continued to learn from the Zen master. He practiced meditation, worked on strengthening his mind, and applied the lessons he had learned to his life. Slowly but surely, he began to notice changes within himself. He was more patient, more resilient, and more focused. The frustrations that once plagued him seemed to melt away, replaced by a quiet confidence. One day, the Zen master approached Yuto with a serious expression. "Yuto, it is time for your final challenge." Yuto felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "What is the challenge, master?" The master led Yuto to a secluded part of the forest, where a large boulder sat, partially buried in the earth. Your challenge, the master said, is to move this boulder from its current position to the clearing over there. Yuto stared at the boulder in disbelief. It was massive, far too heavy for one person to move. Master, this seems impossible, Yuto said, voicing his doubts. The Zen master's eyes twinkled with wisdom. Do not focus on the outcome, Yuto. Focus on the effort. Remember the lessons you have learned. Trust the process and do not give up. Taking a deep breath, Yuto approached the boulder. He tried pushing it with all his strength, but it barely budged. He tried using a long branch as a lever, but the boulder remained stubbornly in place. Hours passed, and Yuto was drenched in sweat, his muscles aching from the exertion. But every time he felt like giving up, the master's words echoed in his mind, trust the process. Yuto continued to try different methods, each time getting a little closer to moving the boulder. He stopped focusing on the outcome and instead immersed himself in the effort, the process of figuring out a solution. And then, as the sun began to set, Yuto finally found the right angle, the right technique. With one final push, the boulder began to move, slowly at first, and then rolling into the clearing. Yuto fell to the ground, exhausted but exhilarated. He had done it. He had achieved what seemed impossible. The Zen master approached and placed a hand on Yuto's shoulder. Well done, Yuto. You have learned the most important lesson of all, that with patience, persistence, and the right mindset, you can achieve anything. Yuto looked up at the master, his heart filled with gratitude. Thank you, master. I understand now. Success is not about achieving the goal itself, but about becoming the person who can achieve it. The master smiled. And now you are that person, Yuto. Remember this lesson as you continue your journey in life. The return home. With the Zen master's teachings ingrained in his heart, Yuto returned to his village. He approached his work and his goals with a new mindset. No longer driven by impatience or frustration, Yuto embraced the process, trusting that with time, his efforts would bear fruit. And indeed they did. Slowly but surely, Yuto's life began to change. His projects flourished, his relationships deepened, and he found a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had never known before. He realized that he could achieve anything, not by focusing on the end result, but by dedicating himself to the journey, one step at a time. Whenever he faced a new challenge, Yuto would remember the lessons of the bamboo grove, the empty teacup, and the boulder. He knew that success was not a destination, but a continuous journey of growth, learning, and self-discovery. And so Yuto lived his life with the quiet confidence of someone who had unlocked the secret to achieving anything. Trust the process, let go of attachment, and embrace the journey. Conclusion. The Zen master's teachings had transformed Yuto's life. The story of Yuto and the Zen master is a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to achieve anything we set our minds to. But true success comes not from obsessing over the outcome, but from focusing on the process, building a strong foundation, and trusting that with patience and persistence, we can overcome any obstacle. So, take a deep breath, empty your teacup, and start your journey. The path to achieving anything is already within you.